Hello, Steve Mills here. Fantastic to be back sharing some more great ideas to you. Today I've got another question. I keep asking you questions. Questions are great to get you thinking. And that question is, what do you think job stands for? Job, as in you've got a job. For me, it stands for just over broke. And, I know there are wealthy people who've got jobs out there, don't get me wrong. But my belief is that if you've got a job, then you're going to be just over broke. And by a job, let me clarify, it might be you work for somebody else, I fully respect that. But if you're out there and you're just doing the work, whether you run your business as a self-employed, I don't know, a solicitor or a plumber or whatever it is you do, if you've got a job like that, then you're only ever going to be just over broke. And so really, if you think about the purpose of a business, it's to give you a better life, to make your life better. And most people who have jobs, their life is not great. And really what that means is that in business, if you're serious about growing it, you've got to look at ways in which you can create residual income. In other words, you're not always exchanging time for money, which is basically what a job is. You come in at 9 o'clock and you go home at 5 o'clock, and you've been paid an amount of money, and you've provided a service. If you've got that type of job or run that type of business even, then really the amount of hours you work is going to be limited. The amount of time you've got is going to be limited. And you're going to be on that little spiral running away like a hamster as fast as you can. Whereas if you leverage your time, then that's a whole different matter. Let me give you a couple of examples from my world. If I go into a company and spend the day there and I get paid an amount of money for doing that, that's really, I have another one the following day and another one the following day. It doesn't matter how much I earn, whether, I'm on a, £6 an hour or £6,000 an hour, there's still only so much, and I can only ever exchange time for money. However, if I run a business that enables me to leverage my time, a great example would be a training business. I run part of what I do is doing training for people, and I get, perhaps 10, 20, 30 people onto a workshop, and they pay me a daily rate. Obviously, the more people I get, the better. Now, a little while ago, I went along to a Tony Robbins seminar, and it cost me £400, and when I got there were 12,000 people there. Now, you see what I mean about leverage. It really wouldn't matter to Tony. He doesn't have to do that much more work, whether there were 12,000 or 1,000 or 100. But he managed to leverage his time by getting himself in front of 12,000 people at £400 a day. It was actually 2 days. So that's the type of thing that I mean. So my question for you is, how can you leverage your time in your business? How can you leverage to get more out of what you got? Perhaps you can turn your knowledge, this knowledge that you've got, into perhaps an online program. A little bit like I've done with my Results Club and my LinkedIn training. So, I deliver my LinkedIn training, and I got people turning up to run a workshop, or I could turn it into an online program, which I've done, and, provide training to people literally all over the world. And what's that cost me? Well, the answer is absolutely nothing. Do I have to spend any time? Well, I have to spend time to set it all up. But if somebody buys my program, they're just watching videos of me while hopefully I'm on the beach somewhere. It's not happened yet, by the way, but you get the idea. So, think about ways in which you can leverage your time. Think about ways that you can stop becoming a wage slave. Whether you've got a job and you work for somebody else, maybe, you carry on with that job, but look at ways in which you could leverage opportunities in order to make more money. And if you run your business, but you feel as though you're caught in that hamster wheel where you're just, exchanging time for money, turning up every day, doing it, going home at night, absolutely shattered, getting in the following morning, and back on the treadmill, doing it, and you're just over broke. You've got a job. So I hope you don't get a job. I hope you've not got a job. I hope if you do lose your job, you go out there and create some real wealth for you, and more importantly, I believe, for your family, and even more importantly, for the world. Thanks ever so much for listening.